Hello, my name's Chris Barron. I'm a photographer. I mainly do weddings and portrait style photography. I thought I'd just give you a quick review and a heads up on my new purchase, which is a D700. And I just thought I'd go with some of the features here that it has there and just explain to you how I use it and how it incorporates with the rest of my kit. First off, as I said before, I do shoot mainly weddings. I have two cameras. I have a D70s, which is an older camera. 6 megapixels gets the job done. This is my backup body. I bought this camera a few years ago when it was pretty much top of the range there. But now it's basically retired / my second body there. We'll get a bit more into that, my shooting style, in a second. But here's the main star of the show. It's the Nikon D700, released at the beginning of this financial year, 2008. It's a full frame camera, 12 megapixels, shoots at 5 frames per second. It's a lovely camera. It feels really sturdy in your hands. It's got a lovely viewfinder at the back there, and it's got the famous nice display on the back there, the 3-inch display like on the back of the D3. It's an awesome camera. I can't recommend it enough. It's definitely my workhorse at the moment. As wedding photographer, I prefer to use zooms there because I'm continuously changing my focal length there. I'll go through some of the lenses here that I have in my kit. First off, my favourite lens here is my 24-70 zoom here. This lens is fantastic as a walk-around lens, and it is on my D700 about 80% of the time there. It's basically good. It's wide enough for weddings, so if you want to get a bit of a group shot or 3 or 4 people in a photo, it does that easily. It's a 2.8, so it's fairly good in low light there. On the D70, it's pretty average, but on the D700 it really shows its true colours. It's an awesome lens. Definitely recommend this one. It's my favourite lens. It's an all-purpose lens. It's great in low light. I'll fix that later. My second lens here, and this is my newest addition. It's also my probably not my favourite lens, but it's easily the most creative lens here that I've got. It's my 14-24 2.8. This is an amazing lens. It's super wide. It's really sharp. It's awesome for group photos, photos of the church, that type of thing. It's pretty good when you just want to capture how many people are in an area. It's awesome in tight spaces. It's fairly low in distortion for a wide. It's definitely an awesome lens. Definitely worth buying there. On the D70, it's not very good. It's pretty standard. On the D700, this thing is magical. It's also magical on the D3. I've tried that as well. Definitely worth getting this lens here. As I said, it's really sharp. Colour's amazing. It's a good lens. As I said before, the 24-70 is on the D700 about 80% of the time. The other 20% of the time, this is actually on there for the group photos type of thing. The other lens here, which is a fantastic lens, is the 70-200 2.8. This is my telephoto lens. This one basically lives on the D70 during the weddings there. I've got it on commando style, 2 cameras. This is on the D70 because on the crop center you get a bit more zoom out of this one. It's a bit more useful there. Another thing that I was reading on the internet there, because I usually do a bit of research before I make a purchase, is a lot of people say this has really bad visioning on the edge of the photos on the full frame sensor. Not the case there at all. It actually produces excellent images. They're sharp. I have absolutely no problems at all. It's not dark on the edges. It's a good lens on the D700. When I'm just shooting portraits, that type of thing, I'll use this in the D700, no questions. Put that one there. Another lens here, which is pretty much necessary for wedding photography, is your 50mm. I use the 50mm 1.4. This lens is the cheapest lens I have. It only cost, I think it was $300 and something. My zooms are all at 2 grand plus, but this is by far the best lens that I have when it comes to low light and just generally sharp images. It's fantastic. You can use this at 6 o'clock when it's dark, and you can shoot like it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a brilliant lens. It's definitely the cheapest lens, and it's definitely worth getting, especially on the D700. On the D70s, it's good, not really great, but on the D700 it is magical. Definitely worth getting this on a full frame. here we go. The other lens that I do own is the 60mm 2.8 macro, or as Nikon say, micro. It's definitely a good lens. I'd recommend getting this. I use this for my ring shots and getting details such in the dress, shoes, invitations, getting zoom-ins, that type of thing. A bit more creative stuff there. It's good for getting pictures of the little men on the cake, that type of thing. The only thing I have a bit of a nitty-gritty with this one is on the D70s. It's nice. You've got a bit of distance to work with there. Whereas on the D700, you have to get just that little bit closer there. And it can be a little bit annoying there. Ideally, it would be probably nice to have a 105 macro on your D700, but they're a little bit expensive. But this does the job, and for the amount of time I use it compared to my other lens, you know, I'll probably only, out of a wedding, take 20 or so shots on this, so it gets the job done. The other type of thing that we do is with the portraits there, since I like to pack light and I consider myself to be a bit of a strobist, I have my speed lights here, or my flashes. I have two Nikon SB-800s here, and I also have my Nikon SB-600, which is basically my hair light, or perhaps maybe to light up the background a bit. Usually use one of these as my key and one as my fill. This is more for portraits type of thing. I generally don't use 3 speed lights during a wedding, or if I do, it's because one's on the the D70s, and the other one's on the D700. So usually I've got one on each there. And if I'm doing a big wedding, I usually have an assistant there. I've got the lasso light easy box there, the 60cm one. I usually just pop that on there, and I use this with my SU-800 wireless controller. This works fantastic indoors, in the church. Outdoors, it's not too great because it uses infrared, so of course the range is quite limited. You can actually get the misfire there. That's why I have pocket wizards for that as well. Keep in mind your pocket wizards won't work on your SB-600, just your 800s there, unless you get like a little sink shoe on the bottom there. But yeah, eventually I'm going to get rid of that 600 and get the SB-900 as well, because it is a full frame flash. So let me get rid of these things here. Okay, and we'll go back to the D700, just a quick top off here. Basically, it's a fast camera. It's not as fast as the D3, although it is quite good for photography if you're doing weddings, that type of thing, portraits. It's okay in sports photography, 5 frames per second isn't too bad. You can get the MB10 adaptation at the bottom there, the grip there, which gives you the vertical grip there with an extra shutter release there. And it also bumps your frames per second up to 8 frames, which is a bit overkill for a wedding there. You don't really need that at all. When I look at the two cameras here, you know, hands down the D700 is the best camera there. It is just amazing in low light. You can shoot down at really low ISOs on this camera here. It's got an ISO feature there, which I usually keep in the range between 200 and about 1600. I'll be more than happy to shoot a wedding at 1600 ISO on this, whereas on my D70s, I wouldn't even think about taking over ISO 600. The grain is just terrible, whereas on the D700, you shoot up to 3200 and you get a little bit of noise, but it's easily removed with Noise Ninja. Even a bit of Photoshop noise reduction will get that out immediately. On a closing note there, I highly recommend the D700. It is a fantastic lens. It is camera, sorry. You know, it works absolutely awesome with all the lenses here. Doesn't go down too good with DX lenses. I actually have a DX lens here, I think. Yeah, so like your old DX lenses, you know, you put them on the D70, sorry, on the D700, it's you know, you don't bother because it just halves your resolution down to 5 megapixels. But other things that I do recommend as well is if you're a wedding photographer, you're going to want to get one of these as well. These are fantastic. These save my life all the time. Just have a look at my kit. Won't be too long. Here we go. This is a Nikon SD pack here, which is basically a battery pack. It holds an additional 6 batteries, and it also, in addition to the 4 or possibly 5 in your SB-800, it basically takes recycle times on an SB-800 on a full flash, like full power manual flash, about 1 second. So when you're potentially shooting, you get about 400 shots out of this to a wedding. Just keep going there. It's awesome. But I've found with the D700, as opposed to my D70, I rely less on flash now. Some weddings I can shoot totally flash free, unless when it gets a bit darker outside. But yeah, definitely a good camera. Out of 10, I'd probably give it a 9. Things that I would like to see, I'd like to see him get rid of this pop-up flash here. It's a bit silly. No one really uses it. It's a bit flimsy as well. I would have rather seen, another 2 compact flash holders here. That would have been a nice feature. That's on the D3. But all in all, it is a good camera. It's dirty made, and I'm sure you'll find a next addition to your Nikon kit. Oh well, thanks for listening to my review. Hope you enjoyed it and learnt something there. If you have any questions, just ask me on the comment section of the YouTube thing, and I'll get back to you on that one. But I'm happy shooting, and I hope you learnt something. Cheers.